Part 62. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 613. 611. He Tian was jealous. This realization made Huo Yingji dumbfounded. Haha, Huo Yingji smiled, you are overthinking it. I don't care what those people think. Anyway, I don't like them. I only like you and love you. Hearing her husband's words, He Tian's discomfort disappeared completely. She kissed her husband on the cheek and said, anyway, when you encounter women with ulterior motives, you should stay vigilant and stay away. That's natural, Huo Yingji said, this way, we can save ourselves less trouble. Did you see anything today? Did you hear anything? He Tian frowned and said, she's not a woman yet. She's the cousin of my classmate Qin Li. I seem to have seen her somewhere before. When you were fishing with your father-in-law, she was staring at you not far away. That look in her eyes, I wish I could knock you unconscious and take you home and lock you up. I don't know why, but I feel unhappy every time I see that woman. Huo Yingji frowned, thought for a while, and said, I made a note of it. I will stay away from that woman when I see her in the future. There's no need to hide away, but don't be alone with that woman. If something happens to a man and a woman alone, and rumors spread, it won't be worth the loss. He Tian explained that in today's society, women are more protective and think that women are a vulnerable group. In fact, this is indeed the case. Due to physiological reasons, women are indeed inferior to men in some aspects, so once something happens, regardless of whether Huo Yingji is right or wrong, public opinion will always favor women. Well, you're right, Huo Yingji said yes repeatedly. I hope this time's precautions will be effective. He Tian felt a little sleepy, yawned, closed her eyes, and fell asleep. However, after the Wang family and the Qin family left, Wang Bing's mother Cai Ying finally knocked on her daughter's door. She wanted to know what was going on. She didn't believe what others said. She wanted her daughter to tell her personally. Wang Bing in the room had already thought of a countermeasure. Now that the matter has come to this, she can no longer hide it. If she wanted to take the next step, she wouldn't be able to continue without the support of her parents. Wang Bing opened the door, walked out of the bedroom, went to the kitchen, poured 2 cups of tea for his parents, and said, Dad, Mom, you drink tea first. Cai Ying and Wang Shengli didn't want to drink tea anymore. Xiao Bing, tell me, are the things your cousin said true? Cai Ying asked. Caring made her confused and she couldn't help but ask. Wang Bing took a sip of tea and said softly, Mom, I have a crush on Deputy Mayor Huo's only son Huo Yingji. Wang Shengli, who just picked up the cup and wanted to drink tea, shook his hand, and with a crash, the cup fell to the ground, scattering water and glass fragments all over the ground. However, at this time, Cai Ying, Wang Shengli, and his wife did not care about these trivial matters, but looked at their daughter Wang Bing in shock. After a while, Wang Shengli frowned and said, Don't you know that Deputy Mayor Huo's son is already married? I heard that he has a pair of twins. If you do this, you may not bring disaster to the family, but it can let me retire early. Cai Ying was nervous and tried to persuade her, no matter how good a married woman is, you can't rely on her. You are a young lady. You can find someone better, so why do you have to fall in love with such a person? Wang Bing kept his head down, and finally raised his head after his parents finished speaking. Dad, you have worked hard all your life, and now you are only the director in charge of the sub-district office in our district. Our family has been looking forward to our aunt and uncle all these years. Don't you hope that your uncle will promote us and let you go further? Wang Bing he asked back, but over the years, my uncle's official position has been rising, but what about you? When Wang Shengli heard his daughter's breathing, her breathing stopped for a moment and her face turned red. Some people who entered the official career at the same time as Wang Shengli have now become senior municipal officials, but he is still just the director of the sub-district office in charge of the district. Some time ago, there was a class reunion. There were many people who were worse off than him who were doing better than him, which made Wang Shengli, who initially regarded himself as a genius, feel very unbalanced. By the way, that little Zheng, his father is the deputy director of the municipal party committee office. It's okay. He's better than Huo Yingzhe. At least he's the first to marry, Wang Bing said. If it's for Wang Shengli's career, the Huo family is not the only choice. Some of the children of high-ranking officials also have a crush on their daughters. Xiao Zheng, his father is just lucky and has no foundation, Wang Bing said, but the Huo family is different. This family is in Yanjing. It is one of the best meritorious families. Such a family has a good foundation and connections. At that time, maybe my father will be able to become a county magistrate, a high-ranking county official, instead of a small director in name only. When Wang Shengli had nothing to do, he also researched the backgrounds of city leaders. As his daughter said, the Huo family was indeed the leading family in Yanjing. Especially in the past year or two, I have gained that person's trust. If you have a relationship with such a family, a high-ranking county official is just a trivial matter. It is indeed not comparable to the Zheng family from Nanji. Xiao Bing, are you sure? Wang Shengli asked. He was most excited. Wang Shengli only had a daughter. In the past, he was obsessed with official career and wanted to be an official or a high official, but he was never reused. Cai Ying was stunned, glared at her husband, and said, "Old Wang, then Huo Yingzhe is already married, so you just watch your daughter jump into the fire pit." Under the gaze of his wife, Wang Shengli looked a little embarrassed. "Mom, you also have foresight." Wang Bing saw that there were no big obstacles on his father's side. The most important thing now was to convince his mother, which would be much easier. "Vision," Cai Ying said angrily, "do you know that if you destroy other people's families, it will be a lifelong stain that cannot be washed away?" Wang Bing smiled and said, "Mom, as long as Huo Yingzhe is promising and has an honorable husband and a noble wife, it doesn't matter if others say a few words behind his back. Besides, people are forgetful and will only remember the achievements of successful people. Who cares about the loser's wishes, let alone sympathy?" After hearing his daughter's words, Wang Shengli felt a sense of regret in his heart. If his daughter were a son and pursued an official career, he would definitely have a great future. "Xiao Bing, this road is destined to be difficult," Cai Ying continued to persuade, "then no matter how good the Huo family is." "Mom, please stop trying to persuade me. The Huo family is good. After joining the Huo family, my father's career will be smoother, and I can live a life of a master. Besides, Huo Yingzhe is a dragon and a phoenix among men. With time, I will definitely soar into the sky. When the time comes, others will look up to me, and even if they criticize me, they are jealous of me," Wang Bing said with a firm attitude. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Xing Cao. Chapter 614. 612. His father Wang Shengli's silence made Wang Bing feel more confident. As long as you have your father's support, half the battle is won. How can it be so easy to soar into the sky? Cai Ying softened her tone when she saw her husband and daughter acting like this, but she only had a motherly heart and was worried about her daughter's future, which was uncertain, and she still wanted to continue to persuade her. "Mom, you also said that women should marry high. Now that I have fallen in love with Huo Yingzhe, please don't stop me. Otherwise, I will have to stay at home and be an old girl," Wang Bing said with a hint of emotion in his tone. Threaten. She didn't want this, but her mother persisted. Their positions are different, and they think each other is stubborn. Old girl. When Cai Ying heard her daughter's words, she almost burst into tears. How could her daughter become an old girl with her beautiful face? Isn't it being laughed at? Hey, forget it. You are old and have your own ideas. I can't control you anymore. You can take care of yourself from now on. After saying that, Cai Ying was lost and mentally exhausted. She got up and went to the bedroom. In the living room, Wang Shengli and Wang Bing were silent. After a while, Wang Shengli whispered, "Your mother is doing this for your own good, so don't blame her. What are your chances in this matter?" Wang Bing was very happy to see that her father did not stop her and her mother relaxed. "Dad, the matter is actually very simple. I think starting from two aspects and working together will achieve faster results." Wang Bing already had a plan in his mind. Wang Shengli thought for a while and asked, "What two aspects?" "On the one hand, I am gradually getting closer to Huo Yingzhe. After all, I am a doctor at Nanji University, so I have plenty of opportunities. On the other hand, I want to find a good-looking but scheming man who is good at sweet talk and promise benefits to get close to He Tian." Wang Bing said, "She already has a candidate in mind, that is, Yuan Chenke, a talented person from the Chinese department who is in the same class as He Tian. As the saying goes, those who are near the water and the towers get the moon first, and being in the same class is easy to get close to." Wang Shengli was very pleased by his daughter's words. These were indeed two good methods. "Okay, what do you need me to do?" Wang Shengli asked. "As long as I can do it, I will try my best to do it." "Father, that's all you need." Wang Bing muttered to Wang Shengli in a low voice, telling him the specific strategy he had thought of before. Wang Shengli nodded repeatedly after hearing this. The father and daughter had similar smiles and expressions on their faces. Schoolwork is very tight. He Tian is very serious in class every day and takes careful notes. After class, He Tian put the notebook she had organized into her school bag and continued to review after going home in the evening. Classmate He Tian, can you lend me your notes? Yuan Chenke, who was sitting in the back, asked softly. "I was so absorbed in the lecture just now that I didn't have time to sort out my notes." Yuan Chenke, who is behind, is a famous talent in the class. He was admitted to the Chinese department with first place. Usually in class, he gets along very well with his classmates, especially the girls in the class, who like to talk to him. He Tian is not a stingy person. It is normal for classmates to borrow their notes. "Okay, you read it as soon as possible. I'm going to take it home for review after school." He Tian took out her notebook and turned to hand it to Yuan Chenke. Yuan Chenke smiled slightly and said, "I have written it down. I will copy it down immediately and I will definitely return it to you before school." "Okay," He Tian nodded. After hearing what Yuan Chenke said, Qin Li also took out her notebook and wanted to lend it to Yuan Chenke. But Yuan Chenke had already accepted He Tian's notebook. Qin Li secretly looked at He Tian and found that He Tian had already taken out another book and was getting ready for class. There was no other abnormality, and she was relieved. Maybe she was just overthinking it. Yuan Chenke looked at the elegant fonts and neat handwriting on the notebook, and could vaguely smell a faint fragrance from it. "This fragrance is just like the usual fragrance on He Tian in front of me, it is elegant and refreshing." When school was over, He Tian turned around and asked, "Classmate Yuan Chenke, please return your notebook to me." Yuan Chenke hurriedly took out He Tian's notebook and thanked him. "Thank you." "You're welcome." He Tian took it and put it in her school bag, greeted Huang Jingli and Kui Ying and left. Huo Yingzhe was waiting for He Tian not far outside the classroom. After leaving the classroom, He Tian showed a happy smile with a calm expression. Huo Yingzhe took He Tian's school bag and put it on his shoulder. The setting sun stretched their shadows very long, and their shadows, side by side, looked so close. "Luo Fu has a husband," Yuan Chenke murmured to himself, with regret in his eyes. While Yuan Chenke was paying attention to He Tian, Qin Li was also paying attention to Yuan Chenke. How could such a talented person fall in love with He Tian? Li felt depressed. There were obviously many lesbians around her, so why did she fall in love with a married woman? Li admitted that Tian was better than ordinary women. If she were a man, she would also be attracted to Tian. But she is not. Yuancheng, can you lend me your notes? Li asked in a low voice, because she secretly liked Yuancheng in her heart, so she didn't want such a talented person to take a detour. Yuancheng calmed down, handed the notes to Li, and said with a smile, "You can take it and read it. Just give it to me before class tomorrow." "Thank you." Li blushed a little when she heard Yuancheng's clear voice. "We are all classmates, no need to thank you," Yuancheng said softly. "I'm going to the cafeteria first. See you tomorrow." Yuancheng left with his school bag on his back, leaving Li with an elegant and long figure. After that, Yuancheng often borrowed notes from Tian. Once, his hand touched Tian's hand, which was so smooth, soft, and white. "Yes, I'm sorry." Yuancheng's face turned red and he quickly apologized. Tian was also a little embarrassed. She didn't say anything and took back her notebook. Yuancheng's blushing face and twinkling eyes made Tian realize that this was not in line with the behavior of ordinary students. The next day, when Yuancheng continued to borrow his notebook from Tian said, "I haven't memorized my notes well, so I can't lend it to you." Yuancheng was directly rejected. Seeing this, Li quickly took out her notebook and said, "Classmate Yuancheng, my notebook also remembers everything very comprehensively. Please read my notes." Yuancheng was stunned, but still took the notebook handed over by Li. In fact, borrowing notes is just an excuse. But in front of Tian, he couldn't slap himself. Tian has obviously felt something wrong with Yuancheng. As long as Tian ignores Yuancheng, I believe Yuancheng will not continue to pester Tian. Li thought to herself, in this case, if she is not married and he is not married, if they get along well, there will definitely be a good ending. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 615. 613. On the way, Huo Yingji smiled and said, "There is a basketball game this weekend. Will you come over and watch me play?" Tian nodded and said, "Okay, if the weather is good that day, I will take the children to watch you play." In the past, Tian did not dare to bring her children to school. After all, the children were young and could not control their bowel movements. It seemed a bit inappropriate to sort out these things in front of classmates. Fortunately, I received diapers from my mother a few days ago from the United States. I can finally take my baby out without having to change diapers anytime, anywhere, and avoid some embarrassment. In today's weather, diapers are the most suitable. It's not like in the summer when you may get red spots or prickly heat. Okay, Huo Yingji was very happy. He had to participate in any activities in school. After all, people are group animals. If they are not gregarious, they will be isolated by others. Even if they have the best grades, others will not be convinced. As a result, Huo Yingji changed the way he dealt with things. Rather than being disliked by others, it is better to stand at the top and dislike others. This is Huo Yingji's way of thinking and doing things. If it were the previous Huo Yingji, he might be more tactful. If it were the former Changling God, he would just ignore it and still be so far away that it would make people look up at him. Either way, there are flaws. After the two merged together, they absorbed the advantages of the two consciousnesses and became the complete individual they are now. Therefore, Huo Yingji can think ahead on all matters big and small, and handle them in a very thorough way. Not extreme or stubborn. The weekend is coming soon. Although it is winter, there is no wind and the sun is shining warmly. It is a good weather for traveling. He Tian put on diapers for the two sons, put on the small cotton pants and cotton jackets made by Grandma Wang, and put on cute children's suits. Nowadays, service is not as strict as before, so the clothes on the two children will attract attention at most, but no one will make any comments. As for He Tian, she was wearing a turtleneck sweater, an orange cashmere coat with double breasts and a belt, black straight pants and black semi-high-heeled leather shoes. It's not easy to go on a trip. He Tian brought a big bag, which contained two children's bottles, milk powder, several diapers, a roll of toilet paper, towels, and a thermos. Grandma Wan couldn't help but laugh when she saw that He Tian had to bring so many things with her when she went out, and said, Tian, don't you feel tired with so many things? You're not tired, Grandma Wang, He Tian said, although the children are small, they still have to go out often. Besides, Brother Yingja is here, and the two of us will take care of the children. It will be fine. After packing up, Huo Yingja borrowed a tricycle and lifted the two-seat stroller directly onto the tricycle. Two fat and white babies were sitting inside. Because it was winter, He Tian knitted hats and scarves for her son and daughter. The daughter's hat and scarf are red, and the son's are blue. There is a big loose pom-pom on the round beret, which trembles and trembles as the two little heads turn, which is very cute. Huo Yingja was riding a tricycle, and He Tian was sitting on the side supporting the two children. Hey, He Tian desperately hopes to have a car, which will make traveling much more convenient. Although my father-in-law also has a car now, it is a public car and cannot be used for personal use all the time. Arriving at the school gate, Huo Yingja stored the tricycle, took off the stroller, and pushed it toward the school with He Tian. Today is a competition between the Department of Chemistry and the Department of Physics. These two departments are both science subjects, so there are particularly many boys, and the school is also famous for their basketball prowess. Because it is a strong team, it attracts many people to watch the game. Huo Yingja, you're here. Hurry up and get ready. The competition is about to start. Wu Yaliang, the monitor of the Department of Chemistry, greeted Huo Yingja and smiled when he saw He Tian next to Huo Yingja. My sister-in-law is also coming to watch the competition with her children. Well, Huo Yingja, you have to work hard. That's natural, Huo Yingja said with a proud smile. He usually uses 5 points of force, but today he will use 7 points. If you use too much force, the physics department will lose badly, and it will be difficult to talk to each other in future meetings. Keep a line in everything so that we can meet you next time. Huo Yingja, then you go and get ready. I will take my sister-in-law, nieces and nephews over and arrange a good place for them. Wu Yaliang said, Sister-in-law, follow me this way. Wu Yaliang, I'll leave it to you, Huo Yingja said with a smile. Tian, I'll go over then. You take good care of the children and watch my game carefully. Okay, He Tian smiled brightly. She likes such an energetic brother Yingja. Her Yingja brother should be so outstanding and charisma. Wu Yaliang could be the squad leader and was somewhat capable. He took He Tian to the front of the rostrum. There were benches where the sister-in-law could sit and watch the game and take care of the children. Today's game attracted a lot of people, and the entire basketball court was surrounded by 3 floors inside and 3 outside. As the referee's whistle sounds, the game begins. Huo Yingja jumped up, took the basketball, and let his companions get the basketball. When the opponent's players chased the classmate who had the ball, the classmate passed the ball to Huo Yingja. Huo Yingja's position was near the opponent's backboard. By the time those people reacted and pounced on Huo Yingja had already aimed at the basket and shot in. After a goal is scored, the referee's whistle sounds and the goal is valid. Chemistry department, 2 points. The game continues. Physics department, 3 points. Chemistry Department, 3 points. Chemistry Department, 3 points. Because Huo Yingji deliberately waterproofed the ball, the game was not only intense, but also very entertaining. People watching the game around him clapped excitedly from time to time because of the exquisite goals. The two children were not afraid of strangers at all. They had small mouths and stared at the ball on the court. In their little minds, they still don't understand why so many people are chasing around thing. I don't understand even more, why would anyone applaud? However, even though they don't understand why they are applauding, they still applaud. So when they saw others clapping, they also clapped with their fat little gloved paws, making ah sounds from time to time. He Tian looked at the child for a while, and then stared at Huo Yingji on the playing field. Huo Yingji, who was wearing a white shirt and playing basketball, had sweat all over his forehead, white steam coming from the top of his head, and his face was reddish. Half of the goals in the chemistry department were scored by Huo Yingji. The high-spirited Huo Yingji is so handsome. He Tianation's aged girl's heart revived, and she looked at the lively Huo Yingji with heart-shaped eyes. This is her Yingji brother. This is her man. He Tianation's attention was always focused on Huo Yingji in the field, but she didn't see Wang Bing not far away. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Xing Cao. Chapter 616. 614. Originally, I thought He Tian would be at home taking care of the children and would not come to watch the game, so Wang Bing thought about how to get close to Huo Yingji today. Ever since she confronted her parents, Wang Bing has been paying attention to Huo Yingji and looking for opportunities to get close to him. However, Huo Yingji is a very strange person. Apart from attending classes, he rarely has extracurricular activities. It was not easy to find out that he participated in basketball games, so Wang Bing went to watch every game, and there was indeed an opportunity to get close to Huo Yingji. After all, she is a school doctor, and the reason is very good. Students are prone to injuries during the game, so it is best for her to be on the side so that if someone is injured, she can provide timely treatment. The school praised Wang Bing for her carefulness. However, today He Tian came, and some of her actions could not be carried out. During the halftime break, Huo Yingji walked towards He Tian. He Tian quickly took out a towel and said, "Brother Yingji, wipe your sweat first." While Huo Yingji was wiping his sweat, He Tian took out a thermos and poured hot water into the lid, saying, "Drink some warm water." Okay, Huo Yingji handed the towel to He Tian, took the warm water, and drank 2 cups in a row. Seeing their father drinking, the two children were also not calm, but now was not the time for the children to drink milk powder, and it was cold outside, so it was not suitable for breastfeeding. "Come on in the second half," He Tian said, "I may watch for a while, then take the child to the toilet to change diapers. By the way, I will wait for you on the lawn later." Although he was wearing diapers, it was winter and he had to change them frequently, otherwise he would be cold. "Okay," Huo Yingji smiled, "it's just hard work for you." In the second half, Huo Yingji's performance was very eye-catching. Although the chemistry department only had 5 more points than the physics department, it was always in the lead. With brother Yingji, He Tian believed that the chemistry department would definitely win the basketball championship in the end. He Tian looked at her watch and saw that there were still 20 minutes left, so she packed up her things, pushed the stroller, and prepared to leave. Wu Yaoliang was not far from He Tian and asked, "Sister-in-law, why don't you watch it?" "No, it's a bit cold. I'll take the children out for a walk," He Tian smiled. It was hard to say that she was going to change the diaper for the children. Everyone made way when they saw He Tian pushing the stroller. Especially seeing He Tian and the children's clothes, as well as the exquisite crib, which were not common, they all guessed whose family it was. However, More people saw Huo Yingjia's intimate interaction with He Tiantian just now, and guessed that it was Huo Yingjia's wife. He Tiantian tried, and the two children really urinated. He Tiantian rubbed her hands to make her hands warmer, and then changed the diapers for the children. He Tiantian threw the two diapers in the trash can and pushed the stroller to the small lake not far from the lawn. This lake water is the living water introduced from Suanwu Lake, which is very clean. He Tiantian didn't dare to let the child out of her sight. She parked the stroller on a flat surface before going down to wash her hands. When He Tianatian's hands touched the water, they didn't feel piercingly cold, but very warm and comfortable. This is not a hot spring, it's unreasonable. He Tiantian was absent-minded and washed her two white hands carefully. Wang Bing has been following He Tiantian since she came out. Seeing He Tiantian squatting on the ground to wash her hands, Wang Bing quietly came to He Tiantian and reached out to push the stroller. Wu Yaliang ran over, grabbed the stroller, and scolded, "Dr. Wang, what are you doing?" Wang Bing was stunned, quickly retracted his hand, and said alertly, "There is a small lake next to it. I am worried that the stroller is not parked securely, so I want to help pull it." Wu Yaliang was a little unconvinced. He clearly felt a force just now, not pulling back, but pushing forward. It was just a moment, and Wu Yaliang couldn't be sure. In the spirit of less trouble, more trouble is better, so he didn't continue to ask. He Tiantian had already turned around and ran over after hearing Wu Yaliang's voice. She held the cart tightly with both hands and looked at Wang Bing vigilantly. "Are you Huo Yingjia's girlfriend?" Wang Bing asked with a smile. "Don't be so careless with children in the future. If the cart is not parked properly and slides into the water, the two children will suffer in such a cold weather." He Tiantian squinted her eyes. She could feel the sinister behind Wang Bing's fake smile. Although she didn't catch him on the spot, He Tiantian didn't believe that Wang Bing would kindly remind her. She didn't hesitate to speculate with the worst malice that Wang Bing's behavior just now was pushing the cart, not pulling it. "Thank you for reminding me, I was careless just now." He Tiantian smiled. Who doesn't know how to act? Everyone has thousands of faces. Even if He Tiantian doesn't have thousands of faces, she is very good at pretending and smiling. "You're welcome," Wang Bing said, "be more careful next time." After Wang Bing finished speaking, he turned and left. Wang Bing cursed in her heart, Wu Yaliang was nosy. There was no one here just now. Even if she pushed the car down and hit He Tiantian, the three of them would collide and fall into the water, and no one would notice. Such a good opportunity was ruined by Wu Yaliang. He Tiantian broke out in a cold sweat on her back, and she blamed herself in her heart. Not washing hands once would not kill anyone. She must never leave her child for a moment in the future. "Thank you, Wu Yaliang." He Tiantian smiled. "By the way, how did you come here?" "During the break, Huo Yingjia told me to come and help you," Wu Yaliang explained with a smile. "Fortunately, it's okay. Be careful. I'll go over first." "Okay, I've written it down." He Tiantian smiled. "Now go to the lawn to bask in the sun." "Okay, be careful." After Wu Yaliang said that, he returned to the competition venue. There was still a lot of follow-up work to do, and he, the squad leader, couldn't leave. He Tiantian took the children to the lawn, took out a large piece of cotton cloth from her bag and spread it on the grass, put some toys on it, took the children out of the car, and let them sit on the cloth and play. Let's say that Huo Yingjia always felt inappropriate after seeing He Tiantian leave. But he was in the middle of a game and didn't have time to calculate, so he asked Wu Yaliang to go take a look and help him take a look. Fortunately, Wu Yaliang came over, otherwise He Tiantian and the two milk babies would have suffered. The competition is over, and the chemistry department won the championship as they wished. The prize for each person on the championship team is a towel and 2 boxes of toothpaste. Huo Yingjia wiped his sweat, put on his clothes and was about to leave. "Huo Yingjia, "Will you go to the cafeteria with us to celebrate?" Wu Yaoliang asked. "We're going to have lunch soon. Can we invite my sister-in-law to join us?" Huo Yingji thought about it and realized that it was too late to go back for lunch. He nodded and said, "Okay. I'll pick up my wife and children. See you in the cafeteria later." "Okay, let's go there first." Wu Yaoliang smiled and invited everyone to the canteen. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Xing Cao. Chapter 617. 615. When Huo Yingji came to the lawn, he saw He Tiantian sitting on the cotton with her children, holding toys in her hands and teasing the children. "Did you win?" He Tiantian asked with a smile when she saw Huo Yingji coming over, but she felt a little guilty because she was a little careless today. "Of course I won. This is my prize. Take it home." Huo Yingji put the towel and toothpaste into He Tianatian's big bag and took it home. "Although it is not expensive, it can be used in daily life." "Haha, that's good." He Tiantian pretended. "By the way, why did you think of asking Wu Yaoliang to come to us?" "You left with the children, and I felt uneasy, so I asked Wu Yaoliang to find you during the break to help take care of them. After all, they are 2 children, and there are many people in the school, but you don't know them." Huo Yingji said, "Okay, let's not talk anymore. The squad leader asked us to go to the cafeteria for dinner. I agreed. Let's get together with the children." "Okay," He Tiantian smiled, "I'm going to the canteen to keep warm, and I'm going to feed the child milk powder." "Let's go then." Huo Yingji picked up the 2 children and put them in the car. Originally, He Tiantian wanted to tell Huo Yingji, but she had no evidence to prove that Wang Bing wanted to push the cart, so she didn't tell Huo Yingji for the time being. Soon after arriving in the cafeteria, He Tiantian mixed milk powder for the children. The 2 big fat babies, who were out of breath, held the milk bottles in both hands and drank milk vigorously. Because it was a dinner party and not a treat for one person, He Tiantian gave Huo Yingji the meal ticket and money and asked him to buy food and vegetables, and then took them to the car with everyone. He Tiantian and Huo Yingji had money, so the 4 dishes they bought were meat dishes, braised pork, sweet and sour pork ribs, scrambled eggs, and a plate of sauce-flavored beef. Huo Yingji was generous and bought these dishes, placed them on the small table gathered around everyone, and shared them with everyone. In the past, Huo Yingji would occasionally eat with everyone, and he would always buy meat dishes. So even though Huo Yingji didn't talk much in the class and seemed a bit arrogant, he was still popular. He Tiantian ate a bowl of rice and drank a bowl of soup. In the past, they only watched Huo Yingji and He Tiantian from a distance, but they didn't get close to each other in school, and they didn't know He Tiantian well. I met him today and found that He Tiantian has a gentle and straightforward personality without being pretentious. Through the dinner, everyone saw He Tiantian nearby, and they all praised and envied Huo Yingji's good fortune. After dinner, Huo Yingji and He Tiantian said goodbye to everyone and prepared to take their children home. Today, when the baby came out, he spent a lot of energy and was drowsy after drinking milk. He Tiantian put them in the car, then closed the top cover, leaving a ventilation hole for the children to sleep in the car. Huo Yingji rode a tricycle, carrying his wife and children home. Today's trip was quite satisfactory. Grandma Wang was completely relieved when she saw that her child had no runny nose, cough, or other symptoms after waking up. The temperature dropped sharply the next day. "I heard that cold air was coming and it would snow heavily in the next 2 days. Grandma Wang did not allow Huo Yingji and He Tiantian to take the child out and stay in the house. It's so cold outside that even adults can't stand it. Why are you taking your children out?" Grandma Wang scolded Huo Yingji. He Tiantian said, "If you stay indoors honestly, your children won't get sick. If you want to go out to play, just go out. Don't use kids as an excuse." He Tiantian and Huo Yingji looked at each other and shrank their heads. The 2 of them go to school on weekdays, and on weekends, they just want to get along with their children, but they also want to go out for a walk, and now they have diapers, which is a lot more convenient. Yes, Grandma Wang, we know we were wrong. Tian nodded repeatedly and quickly admitted her mistake. It was originally their fault and they were a pair of irresponsible parents. Mainly, the two children Huo Ruwa and Huo Ruimin were in good health and almost never got sick, so that Tian and Huo Yingja ignored their children's delicate physiques. I'm sorry, Grandma Wang, we will never do this again. Huo Yingja nodded. He wanted to go out with Tian in the future without the children. In fact, he didn't want to take him with him, but Tian always felt guilty that he didn't have enough time to spend with the child. If you know you've made a mistake, correct it. You have no experience. It's normal to make such mistakes. Just don't make them in the future. Grandma Wang said in a deep voice, my little darling, look at this little face that's so cold, your parents, who made them disobedient. Ha ha ha. Huo Ruimin laughed. She didn't know what she heard, but she was so happy. The temperature continues to drop, everything is gray, and the sky becomes very low, pressing down on people's heads like a thick pot lid. Finally, I couldn't stand the cold air anymore, and in the middle of the night, heavy snowfalls quietly fell to the ground. When I woke up the next morning, it was already half a foot thick. Tian, Huo Yingja, Zhang Lifang, and Huo Jekan got up early in the morning to sweep the snow. After breakfast, Huo Yingja and Tian walked to school. There is snow on the road and it's freezing, so you can't ride a bicycle. Tian was dressed so thickly that she looked like a ball. Even while walking, Tian almost fell down several times. Huo Yingja held Tian's hand, and Tian's feet became a little firmer. Brother Yingja, it's so cold. Tian whispered, his nose was red from the cold, and there were snowflakes hanging on his eyebrows and eyelashes. Huo Yingja helped Tian hold the umbrella and said, today is the last class, and there will be half a month of review time. Those of us who are day students can ask for leave from the teacher and review at home. As long as we remember the exam time, just come to the exam on time. Is this okay? Tian asked, I heard that names will be called. Okay, let's just say that walking back and forth is a waste of time. The children at home are small and it is inconvenient to go back and forth. Huo Yingja said, you usually perform very well. Your teacher should not embarrass me. Okay, let me give it a try. Tian nodded. She didn't want to walk to school. It would take more than 2 hours to go back and forth. It's winter, and it starts to light up later and gets dark earlier. Running back and forth like this feels like all the good time of the day has been wasted on the road, and it's still so cold. If you catch a cold from the cold and feel uncomfortable, you have to spend money and delay your review. Even though he walked quickly on the road, Tian and Huo Yingja were still late when they arrived at school. Teacher Chen was in class, and Tian could only shout a report into the classroom. Being stared at by so many people for the first time, Tian felt embarrassed, lowered her head, and quietly walked to her seat. Teacher Chen was very unhappy about Tian being late. After sitting down, Tian felt cold all over, and it took him half a class to recover. Finally, after school ended at noon, Tian went to the office of the head teacher, Teacher Chen. Teacher Chen, I'm sorry, I'm late. Tian apologized and bowed to Teacher Chen. Thank you all for the rewards. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 618. 616. No matter what the reason is, if you are late, it is wrong. Teacher Chen saw that Tian was so solemn, and that Tian never arrived late or left early. She listened carefully in class and was a good student, so it was not difficult for her to embarrass her. Okay, the weather is bad today, so I'm excused for being late. Don't be late again in the future, Teacher Chen said with a smile, still very satisfied with the student. Tian mustered up the courage and said, Teacher Chen, the course has been completed, and the remaining half month is a review class. I want to take leave and review at home. Do you think that's okay? Are you asking for leave? Teacher Chen hesitated a little. I know your home address. The weather is bad. If you walk to school, it will take more than 2 hours to go back and forth. It is indeed a bit difficult. Although there is no precedent, it is not impossible. But you have to make sure that your score cannot be lower than when you entered school, otherwise you will not be allowed to take vacations in the future. Well, Teacher Chen, don't worry, I will definitely review carefully at home, Tian said quickly, but she didn't expect to get the leave so smoothly. Okay then, you can review carefully, Teacher Chen said, obeying authority in everything. Since Tian has 2 milk babies, as a teacher, he cannot be unreasonable. As long as Tian can persist in her studies, it is not easy. The past 10 years have left too many traumas on these young people and wasted too much of their youth. Now, with their perseverance and ability, they have been admitted to university, persisted in completing their studies, and contributed to the construction of New China. Therefore, Professor Chen cares very much about the students in the class and provides them with sufficient convenience. The purpose of the university is to be open to all rivers and to be inclusive. College students are not like elementary school students who have to be taught step by teachers, but they need to be given enough freedom. Huo Yingjia also got a holiday. When the couple met in the school cafeteria at noon, they both talked about their respective situations. Hey, I didn't expect that everything went well for us. Tian is in a good mood and doesn't need to go to school tomorrow. Yeah, I've already told our squad leader to send me a letter when the exam form comes out and don't come to school, Huo Yingjia said. You also tell Huang Jingli and Kui Ying, let them come to our house for dinner. Okay, Tian said, I didn't invite them to dinner this semester. I invited them as soon as possible before the holiday. This year, Huang Jingli has helped me a lot. Yes, Huo Yingjia said with a smile. For those who are self-aware, he is happy to get along with those people. As for Kui Ying, Huashan, and Kui Hung, they have been secretly observing their little spinner turtles this year, but they have not dared to take action. They have not harmed their family for the time being, so Huo Yingjia waits to see what happens and does not take action. In the afternoon, Tian patted Huang Jingli's shoulder and said, Squad leader, when the exam timetable comes out, you and Kui Ying will go to my house as guests, and copy the timetable for me by the way, and I will treat you to a pot. Huang Jingli squinted her eyes and said with a smile, okay, I will try your good craftsmanship then. From that day on, Tian stayed at home and reviewed with Huo Yingjia. If you don't understand something, just ask Huo Yingjia, the universal academic master, for help. It's super helpful. During the day, when Huo Yingjia had nothing to do, he went to the surrounding villages to buy some chicken, fish, meat, eggs, etc., and he often went to the mountains to hunt some game. After cleaning it up, I took it back secretly. There is no refrigerator now. Fortunately, the temperature is low and the weather is cold. It snowed again before, so Huo Yingjia collected some clean snow and piled it in the shade in the corner of the yard. The full pile became a natural refrigerator. Huo Yingjia threw the meat he got back directly into the snowdrift. Because Huo Yingjia is so busy, the Huo family's food is particularly good. One winter, everyone in the family gained weight. Tian, who was clamoring to lose weight, had more fat on her face and stomach. 4 days later, Wu Yaoliang, Huang Jingli, Kui Ying, and Huashan arrived at Huo Yingjia's home. As soon as Wu Yaoliang sat down to drink tea, Huang Jingli and others arrived over there. What a coincidence, Let me introduce it to you. He Tian Tian smiled and said, Sister Jingli, Kui Ying, Huashan. This is Brother Yingji's classmate, the class monitor of the first class of the chemistry department, Wu Yaoliang. Wu Yaoliang, Sister Jingli, and Kui Ying are my classmate. Huashan is from the Department of History and Archaeology. Wu Yaoliang is a shrewd person, and he can tell at a glance that Huashan and Kui Ying have ambiguous and intimate eyes, and they should be a couple. At the same time, he heard from He Tianatian's name that He Tian was closer to Huang Jingli and more distant from Kui Ying. Hello, hello. Wu Yaoliang smiled, nice to meet you. Huang Jingli is also the squad leader and has good communication skills. She smiled and said, so you are the famous class 1 of the chemistry department. I often hear the teacher praise you, but I didn't expect to see the class cadre here. I want to study with you. Thank you, Wu Yaoliang said modestly. Squad leader Huang, you are a woman who is not inferior to men. You are the one who deserves the prize. Huang Jingli smiled, this Wu Yaoliang is very good at getting things done. He Tian covered her mouth and smiled, and said, okay, from now on we are all classmates and alumni, and you are all talented people, so stop complimenting each other. Huo Yingji pulled out a large piece of beef, mutton, and a chicken from the snowdrift, and said, come on, Huashan, Wu Yaoliang, come over, cut the meat, and eat the pot later. Okay, you guys talk first. Wu Yaoliang smiled and went to the kitchen. He Tian brought Huang Jingli and Kui Ying into the house, served hot brown sugar tea, and said, is the exam timetable out? It's out. I checked it twice. There's nothing wrong. Huang Jingli smiled and took out a piece of paper from her school bag. You can see it clearly for yourself. Don't miss the exam time. He Tian took it and looked up and down, knowing what she was thinking. Okay, I've written it down. He Tian smiled and put it on the table. Seeing that there were only 3 of them and 2 babies in the room, Huang Jingli asked in a low voice, Wu Yaoliang, does he have a partner? Ah, He Tian was slightly surprised, then smiled, squad leader, do you like Wu Yaoliang? To be honest, Wu Yaoliang is not that good looking. He is short, probably only 1.7 meters tall, and his skin is a bit dark. But this person has one advantage, that is, he is very enthusiastic, has strong organizational skills, and can get along with everyone in the class. The results are also very good. It doesn't look like it? If there is no partner, I want to try to develop a relationship. Huang Jingli said, I am not young anymore, and I don't want to delay it any longer. The new year was coming soon, and she received a letter from her family asking her to go home for the new year. She didn't know whether it was a blessing or a curse to go back this time. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 619. 617. Since she went to Kijia village to become an educated youth, she has only received letters from her family, but there has never been any news that her family asked her to go back to celebrate the new year. She knew that the conditions at home were not good and there were few rooms, but she could always squeeze in some space during the Chinese New Year. But in the letter, my mother said again and again that her 2 brothers got married and there was no room left at home. Not only did she cry about being poor, but she also often asked her for money. At the beginning, Huang Jingli secretly saved some and sent them back, but later, her heart grew cold. I don't know how they knew that she was admitted to college, but they actually sent a letter to the school and asked her to go home. This has never happened before, so Huang Jingli is a little scared. After so many years, she was tired and exhausted, and she wanted to find someone to marry. However, how many good people are there in the world? Huang Jingli couldn't find the right one for a while. In He Tianatian's house, if you can become friends with Huo Yingji, you must be a good character. Although he looks average, he has good abilities and should be a good person. Haha, okay, Let me ask you in private, He Tian said, since Huang Jingli brought it up, it was just a casual thing, if you ask for help, maybe it will be done. He Tian discovered that she had the potential to be a matchmaker. Thank you very much. Regardless of whether it works or not, I will thank you. Huang Jingli smiled and said that she was also open-minded about marriage. Kui Ying turned her back just now and calculated based on the two people's faces. Haha, it's quite suitable. So she looked at Huang Jingli with a smile and said, I think you can do it. Haha, come on, I forgot that there is Kui Bangxian beside me. Huang Jingli said, help me do the math. Kui Ying and Huang Jingli are close, so they know that Kui Ying has a habit of counting on her fingers when there is nothing wrong. However, 8 out of 10 times it is true. I've already done the calculations. Kui Ying didn't like these things before, and her learning skills were only at the level of half a jar, so she couldn't tell you the specifics. Haha, if it happens, I will give you a big gift. Huang Jingli smiled, joking at the time. The three women were entertaining the children and talking about recent events at school. The three men were sorting meat and vegetables in the kitchen. Pork rib soup is simmering on the stove to make the soup base. Wu Yaliang, cut some cabbage leaves, potato slices, wash some vermicelli, radish slices, and rice cakes. Huashan, come and help me cut the meat. Huo Yingzhe arranged and gave Wu Yaliang a small knife and Huashan a larger one. Knife. Wu Yaliang does these things at home a lot, and he is familiar with the roads. Huashan took the knife and asked, how do you want to cut it? Slice the beef and mutton into thin slices and rinse the pot later, Huo Yingzhe said, while he was chopping chicken pieces with an axe. Okay, I'll slice it right now, Huashan said with a smile, holding beef in one hand and a knife in the other. With seemingly slight force, a thin piece of beef appeared on the big plate. Is that so? When Huo Yingzhe saw the beef from Huashan Films, he nodded and said, that's right, that's it. Wu Yaliang was surprised that he couldn't do this, and asked, Brother Huashan, it seems that you have some skills. Huashan smiled and said modestly, I have learned some before. After saying that, he began to concentrate on cutting slices of meat. After a while, 2 large plates were filled with cuts. Huo Yingzhe chopped the whole chicken into small pieces and blanched it in a pot. Grandma Wang didn't like to eat pots. As she got older, it was not easy to digest and get angry easily, so He Tian poured out some white radish and pork rib soup and gave Grandma Wang some noodles to eat first. After dinner, Grandma Wang took her children to the main room to play, and asked Huo Yingzhe and He Tian to accompany the guests to eat. He Tian took out a copper hot pot at home, cleaned it, and put burning charcoal in it. After a while, the soup inside started boiling, and everyone added what they liked to it. There are also many seasonings prepared at home, including sesame paste, minced garlic, vinegar, soy sauce, sesame oil, etc. Eating hot pot is always the most atmospheric, especially in winter, when it is steaming and hot from beginning to end. Huo Yingzhe took out a bottle of sorghum wine and drank with Huashan and Wu Yaliang. He Tian took out the peach blossom wine made by his mother Wang Shuping before and poured some for Huang Jingli and Kui Ying. At the dinner table, we had a great conversation. After eating, they did not leave immediately, but instead speculated on the content of this year's exam together. Everyone expressed their opinions and various ideas collided, and they actually guessed a few questions. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the 4 people stood up and said goodbye. Huo Yingzhe and He Tian sent them to the alley gate. Back home, He Tian immediately asked Huo Yingzhe, where is Wu Yaliang from? Does he have a partner? Wu Yaliang is from a county under Nanji. I heard that their hometown is rich in salted duck eggs. I have eaten half of it and it tastes pretty good, Huo Yingzhe said. As for the target, I don't think there is one. I haven't heard Wu Yaliang say it anyway. Oh, then you can ask clearly when you have time, He Tian whispered. She was entrusted by others to be loyal to others, No matter whether it was successful or not, she had to ask clearly. Huo Yingzhe noticed this and asked, "You don't want to be a matchmaker between your squad leader and Wu Yaoliang, do you?" He Tian Tian smiled, "That's right." "Why do you have such thoughts?" Huo Yingzhe asked. He didn't pay attention to this before. Now think about it, when we were eating just now, that Huang Jingli always talked to Wu Yaoliang about nothing. He Tian Tian raised her head slightly and said, "Actually, it's not my idea, but Huang Jingli asked me privately, does Wu Yaoliang have a partner? If not, she wants to have sex with Wu Yaoliang." "Haha, I see," Huo Yingzhe said. He always knew that Huang Jingli had a purpose in doing things, but fortunately she had a bottom line in doing things. Even if you fall in love with Wu Yaoliang, you must ask clearly first. If Wu Yaoliang has a partner, Huang Jingli will definitely not continue and will look for another target. "Okay, I'll ask during the exam." Seeing that Huang Jingli had always kept to herself and was self-aware, Huo Yingzhe was going to help her ask. "Then I'll leave it to you." He Tian Tian smiled, stood up on tiptoes and kissed Huo Yingzhe on the face. Huo Yingzhe was always dissatisfied. His beloved wife threw herself into his arms and let him go easily. He gave her a passionate French kiss on the spot. Ahem, Grandma Wang went to the kitchen to get a glass of water, and saw the young couple kissing me in the yard on a cold day, not afraid of the cold. In order to prevent them from catching a cold, Grandma Wang kindly coughed twice as a reminder. The two people, confused and infatuated, quickly separated, looking embarrassed, hiding in the room, looking at each other, and then secretly laughing together. In the next few days, Huo Yingzhe and He Tian Tian reviewed carefully and went to school for the exam with confidence. I took the exam for 3 days in a row and passed all the courses. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Xing Cao. Chapter 620. 618. After the exam, I will have a holiday, and I won't know the results until school starts next year. After the exam, Huo Yingzhe went to Wu Yaoliang in private and asked, "Wu Yaoliang, do you have a partner?" Wu Yaoliang smiled, showing his big white teeth, which were in sharp contrast with his dark skin, and said in a very sad tone, "Hey, I am very talented, you know this, but I am put off by this appearance. I have fallen in love with him, people look down on me. But I look down on others. Hey, I envy you for your good looks. You are young and have a wife and a child. I really pity us talented and ugly men. Haha, don't belittle yourself. I've been with you for a long time and you're not a bad person." Huo Yingzhe comforted him. He was surprised when He Tian Tian said that Huang Jingli was attracted to Wu Yaoliang. Huang Jingli has a delicate appearance, which is much better than Wu Yaoliang's appearance. The key is that people won't get along with me when they see my appearance. How can they know that I'm a good person? Wu Yaoliang had a bitter look on his face, and he had resigned himself to his past experience. The last time he went home, his parents actually accepted a second marriage for him, with a child. He is ugly, but he doesn't want to be a father. Haha, Huo Yingzhe smiled. Wu Yaoliang was such a funny person. To be honest, apart from looks, everything else is good. By the way, Huo Yingzhe, why are you asking me if I have a partner? Wu Yaoliang asked curiously, are you going to introduce me to a partner? With someone like Huo Yingzhe in front of him, Wu Yaoliang felt that he was too ugly. How blind did that girl have to be to fall in love with him? Haha, I didn't accept it for you, it was my wife who inquired for someone else, Huo Yingzhe replied, but did not say for whom. Hearing what Huo Yingzhe said, Wu Yaoliang felt itchy, scratched his ears and cheeks, and asked, Brother Huo, let me tell you the truth. Although I have some talents, I don't look good. I just want to find someone who is healthy, and our personal knowledge is similar and we share the same language. As for the outside world, I don't look good, and I don't force the other person's appearance. Haha, That's good, Huo Yingji smiled. Wu Yaoliang is almost 30. If he doesn't get married, he will probably become a bachelor. Being like-minded and sharing a common language is indeed a rational way to choose a spouse. Then tell me, who is it? Do I know him? Wu Yaoliang's mind was spinning rapidly, thinking about the people who were familiar with He Tiantian. He Tiantian is not the kind of enthusiastic person. Unless she is someone with a good relationship, she will help inquire. Suddenly Wu Yaoliang thought of the last time he had a hot pot with Huo Yingji. He Tianation's squad leader Huang Jingli had a good conversation with him. As for Kui Ying, Wu Yaoliang could tell that she and Huashan were a couple. He was so beautiful that he didn't dare to imagine her. In fact, Wu Yaoliang didn't even dare to think about Huang Jingli. Brother Huo, tell me, is it Huang Jingli who we had dinner with last time? Wu Yaoliang asked, vaguely having this guess in his heart. It's easy to talk to smart people, just a few words. Huo Yingji nodded and said, it's her. How do you feel? Are you satisfied? Wu Yaoliang suddenly felt that happiness came a little too quickly, and he couldn't believe it. He stammered, it's just her, Huang Jingli, how could she fall in love with me? She is so beautiful. Monitor Wu, you are actually quite good. Don't belittle yourself and be more confident. Huo Yingji smiled, I'm here to find out the information myself. You can't lie to me and make it difficult for my wife. Brother Huo, I'm telling you the truth, I just want to know why she fell in love with me. Wu Yaoliang hurriedly explained, she is very capable and can find a better one. Huang Jingli and my wife are educated youths from the same village. Huo Yingji told some of Huang Jingli's circumstances so that Wu Yaoliang could understand Huang Jingli. I heard that Huang Jingli didn't go home for the new year in 7 years, so I knew there was something wrong with Huang Jingli's family. But at the same time, I also secretly admire this strong girl. If you have no objection, we will arrange a formal meeting for you tomorrow. As for how you get along and whether it will work out in the future, it all depends on your fate, Huo Yingji said. He had done these things well and didn't need his wife to worry about it. Brother Huo, please decide the time and place. I will arrive on time, Wu Yaoliang said hurriedly. No matter what happened to Huang Jingli, he married Huang Jingli as a person, not the family behind her. After all, Huang Jingli is a college student with good abilities. The key is that she is unmarried. He doesn't want his parents to find him a second wife. Okay, let's come to my house tomorrow morning. I'll pick up Tiantian now and help you make an appointment with Huang Jingli. Huo Yingji thought for a while and said, the sooner the better. Huashan, Kui Ying is planning to go back to her hometown and has already bought the train ticket. Jingli, your home is close, why don't you go home? Kui Ying asked. If her home was close, she would have gone home long ago. Huang Jingli smiled and said, there are still some things in class, I will take care of them and leave. You also said that my home is close. Maybe I am already home before you get home. That's right, let me pack my things, Kui Ying said, no longer urging Huang Jingli. Huang Jingli felt sour and didn't want to go home, but the world was so big, where could she have a small home of her own? Thinking that Teacher Chen was very busy, Huang Jingli went over to see if there was anything she could do to help. As soon as he walked out of the dormitory door, he bumped into He Tiantian and Huo Yingji. Sister Jingli, I asked Brother Yingji to ask Wu Yaoliang. He has no partner. He is the only son in the family and he is 30 years old this year. There is no problem with his character. If his character is bad, Brother Yingji will not get along with such a person. He Tiantian said, if it's okay, you can come to my house for dinner tomorrow and we can meet formally. How about that? Okay, Huang Jingli nodded, as long as she has good character and is motivated, thank you, Tiantian. You're welcome, we are friends. He Tiantian smiled, the weather is going to change soon. I have to go home quickly. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Huang Jingli smiled and watched Huo Yingzhe and He Tiantian leave. Huang Jingli arrived at the teacher's office area. Teacher Chen was very busy. She was very happy to see Huang Jingli coming to help. There was something going on at the moment, and he couldn't leave at the moment, so he asked Huang Jingli to go to the school's main office to get something. Huang Jingli arrived at the school's main office and unexpectedly ran into Wu Yaoliang. Wu Yaoliang was also asked by the teacher to come over and get something. The two met, looking a little embarrassed. But it was more of a secret joy. I just got the news of the official meeting from He Tiantian and Huo Yingzhe, and they met here. This is fate. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 621. 619. Huang Jingli was generous and took the initiative to greet the embarrassed and shy Wu Yaoliang. Wu Yaoliang was not the kind of person to be coy and spoke to Huang Jingli politely. After they finished picking up the things together, they became much more familiar with each other. Neither of them said that they were going to meet tomorrow, but they were both thinking about it. Wu Yaoliang helped Huang Jingli move her things and sent them to the office of the Chinese department before taking her own things back to report to the teacher. The next day, the two formally met under the introduction of He Tiantian. After dinner, when they went back in the afternoon, the two of them walked and chatted about their past lives. When he heard the reason why Huang Jingli had not returned home for so many years, Wu Yaoliang felt a little distressed and said, "Jingli, I am not good looking, but I can guarantee that I have good character and am motivated, and I will treat you well in the future, okay? I will work hard to give you a good life." Huang Jingli smiled and said, "When I was young, I may have paid more attention to the outside world, but I am already 27 this year, and those things become unimportant. As long as you have good character and are motivated, it will be fine. No matter how hard it is, as long as we work together, we will always have a good time." "Well, you're right." Wu Yaoliang grinned with sincerity. "When is your ticket? I'll give it to you." "Tomorrow afternoon." Huang Jingli said, "Your home is from Gao County, and my home is from Li County. They are not very far away." "Well, if you take the train ticket, it will only take 2 hours," Wu Yaoliang said, treating Huang Jingli to dinner that night and sending her to the dormitory. They met at He Tiantian's house the next morning, which was considered an introduction. When Huang Jingli was put on the train in the afternoon, Wu Yaoliang was very thoughtful and bought some cakes and eggs for Huang Jingli to take. He Tiantian met Wu Yaoliang and Huang Jingli and got along well with each other, so he didn't care about their affairs. What will happen to them in the future is also their own business. Just as Huo Yingzhe and He Tiantian were preparing things for the new year, the Huo family welcomed two guests, Niu Dajin and Secretary Qi. Before they came, they didn't send a telegram in advance. They came directly based on the address He Tiantian left. When He Tiantian opened the door and saw the two people outside, he was stunned. "Brother Dajin, Secretary Qi, why are you here? Did something happen to Grandma?" He Tiantian asked hurriedly, first thinking of something bad. Seeing this, Huo Yingzhe hurriedly stepped forward and said, "Tiantian, don't be impatient. Let someone come in and talk slowly." "Haha, third aunt is fine. I came here to ask your father-in-law and Yingzhe something," Village Chief Qi said with a smile. "When I came here, I forgot to send a telegram. I didn't bother you, right?" He Tiantian listened and said quickly, "Village Chief Qi, what are you talking about? I can't even welcome you when you come. How can you disturb me? It's cold outside. Come inside quickly." Huo Yingzhe led people into the house, and He Tiantian hurriedly made ginger soup to drive away the cold for the two of them. Dinner had already been eaten, and He Tiantian cooked hot beef noodles for Village Chief Qi and Niu Dajin alone, which made them both sweat. Huo Jekan and Zhang Lifang heard that someone was coming from Kijia village, so they quickly put on their clothes and came over. Seeing that it was Secretary Qi, Zhang Lifang greeted warmly, "Brother Qi, why are you here? Let me know in advance so that I can pick you up in advance." "Haha, it's okay. I calculated it before and you probably haven't gone to Yanjing yet, so I came here directly. You have to go to work and go to school. We have hands and feet and are literate. We know the address. Just ask." Secretary Qi said with a smile, "It's just our sudden visit that disturbed you." Seeing what village chief Qi said, Huo Jekan said, "Brother Qi, you are out of touch by saying this. Is there something wrong? As long as I can do it, I will never refuse." Village chief Qi saw that Huo Jekan was so clear-headed that he stopped beating around the bush. If nothing happened, he wouldn't bother to come to Nanji in the cold weather. "Haha, we encountered some difficulties, or it can be said that we were confused," Secretary Qi said. "A few days ago, the leaders of the county party committee summoned all the village party secretaries to discuss privately the distribution of fields to households." "Divide fields to households?" Huo Jekan smiled, feeling confident. They received the documents from above, but they were not required to get it right in one step. They could find a place to pilot it first, so Nanchi found a few relatively remote villages. If the distribution of farmland to households is not suitable, it will not have much impact. If the effect is very good, then it will be more reliable to implement it on a large scale. "Yes, we divide the fields into households." Village chief Chi took a puff of cigarette. "We used to be a large collective, and everyone is used to this. We feel that doing so is individualism and small groupism, so many people are unwilling to do so. Distributing fields to households. Brother Chi, what do you think?" Huo Jekan asked. Village chief Chi came here for a special trip. It was very contradictory and he had his own ideas. "When working in a large group, I found a lot of problems. Most people are still very diligent, but some people are still lazy and work hard. You may say that those people are lazy, but they are not like that. I guess it is because of working in a large group. To make them realize that the work is of equal importance, so that's why it is like this," Village Chief Chi said. "If the fields are divided into households, and the family is the unit, then if the family does not work and cultivate the land well, there will be no food to eat. I believe that no matter how lazy a person is, he will work hard if he thinks there is no food to eat." Village Chief Chi has been the village chief for so many years, and is a chief who is good at thinking. He has seen many problems. This is the starting point of the above-mentioned distribution of farmland to each household. Huo Jekan said, "Long-term large-scale collectives are not good for production development, so the higher UPS began to think about reform. However, the pace of reform cannot be too big, so they recommend that various places find several test points." "Brother Huo, you are an official, so you have a more thorough research on these things," Village Chief Chi said. "Just tell me directly, are there any benefits in dividing farmland into households?" Huo Jekan discussed this issue with his son Huo Yingja, and his son firmly told him that it was imperative to divide the land into households. In this way, production relations can be changed and productivity increased while the land area remains unchanged. The above think tank has verified the theory countless times and is correct. Therefore, the distribution of farmland to households is destined to bring about earth-shaking changes in rural areas. There are benefits, Huo Jekan said. The policy above is very flexible. After allocating fields to each household, you only need to hand over 110 kilograms of grain per acre, and the rest is yours. I also learned before that in Kijia village the yield is very high, 400 jins per mu. If a family has 5 acres of land, if they hand over 500 jins, they still have 1,500 jins. Over there, it is 2 crops. Excluding the public grain, a family can harvest 500 jins. There are 3,000 caddies of grain. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 622. 620. Village Chief Chi has already calculated in his mind that the benefits of dividing farmland into households are great, but he is worried that if the policy suddenly changes in the future, he will not be able to guarantee the benefits of the new year. That's a lot, Village Chief Chi said. I also said that if the fields are distributed to each household, it seems that there will be subsidies for fertilizers. At this time, Huo Yingji squinted his eyes and suddenly said, Village Chief Chi, don't use chemical fertilizers in Kijia village. Why? Village Chief Chi was stunned. He had heard that the yield per mu of land using chemical fertilizers could increase by 20 to 30%. The soil in Kijia village is particularly fertile, so the quality of rice and wheat is very good. If chemical fertilizers are used, the yield may be increased, but the quality is not high and the price cannot be paid, Huo Yingji said. At the same time, chemical fertilizers will destroy Kijia village. The soil and environment of our village will in turn affect those precious peach trees. Ah, Village Chief Chi was surprised. He was intrigued when he heard that chemical fertilizers could increase production. Niu Daijin smiled and said, Dad, Yingji studied chemistry and knows more about these things. I often said before that the wheat flour you gave us was delicious. I was not lying. It was really better than the flour we bought at the county supply and marketing cooperative. The rice is delicious. I would rather buy good quality flour. Haha, I always thought what you said was a compliment, Village Chief Chi said with a smile. Okay, if that's the case, then I will stop the villagers from using chemical fertilizers. Anyway, our village doesn't have much food. When the time comes, the army will you can think of a way to help us sell it in the county. If the price is higher, the villagers will see the benefits and naturally they will not use those fertilizers. Hearing this, Huo Yingji nodded and said, don't use chemical fertilizers. The magic of Kijia village cannot be destroyed. Our Kijia village is indeed magical, Village Chief Chi said. Hey, if it weren't allowed now, I really want to build a Shenlong temple in the back mountain and renovate the Earth Temple. How about other villages? I don't know, but our Kijia village is where Fu Ming takes shelter, and I hope I can repay them in my lifetime. Haha, Village Chief Chi has very ambitious goals, Huo Jekan smiled. Now that reforms have been carried out, the culture is also gradually changing. Maybe in a few years, things can really happen. Village Chief Chi got the exact answer from Huo Jekan and Huo Yingji. He no longer had any worries and could rest peacefully. I just rested in Nanchi for a day and was about to leave. Originally, they wanted to leave the next day, but He Tian stopped them. First, the village chief, Niu Daijin, wanted to rest for 2 days. Secondly, He Tian also wanted to buy something for Grandma Chi San, Chi Xiaoyan, Niu Lily, and others took it back. He Tian prepared 2 big bags, and she and Huo Yingji sent the village chief Chi and Niu Daijin into the car. He Tian also cooked more than a dozen eggs, scallion pancakes, braised pig ears and liver for them. These things are delicious when eaten cold. Come in a hurry, go in a hurry. Watching the train leave, He Tian felt a little melancholy. But she also knows that everyone has their own life, and this separation is also for the next reunion. Huo Yingji gently took He Tian's hand and said, Tian, don't be disappointed. When summer vacation comes, I will take you to Kijia village, and you can meet Grandma Chi and other people in Kijia village. Yeah, He Tian nodded. Fortunately, he has brother Yingji by his side, which is great. A week later, Huo Jekan and Zhang Lifang were on vacation. They packed their things and prepared to take their son, daughter-in-law, grandson and granddaughter to Beijing. The train was crowded and the smell wasn't very good. In order to make it easier to take care of the children, Huo Jekan directly bought 6 sleeper tickets to fill a small room. In this way, it will be easier for them to take care of their children. Including Grandma Wang, 5 adults and 2 children, it is not a waste. In order to make it easier to take care of the children, He Tian also brought a 2-seater stroller. He Tian released the pedal under the stroller and let the 2 children sleep in it. Small quilts were spread underneath. At night, He Tian took off their coats and put on sleeping bags with their heads exposed. After they fell asleep, he covered them with small quilts. Very warm. This was specially modified by He Tian for children. Such clothes were very common in later generations, but not now. Huo Ruwa was quite well behaved and stayed in bed honestly after taking off her clothes. However, Huo Ruiman was too naughty. She took off her clothes at night and sometimes climbed out of the bed. When it gets cold, you catch a cold. He Tian did this to coax the child to sleep, and he would not feel cold even if he crawled out of bed. He Tian's invention was praised by the whole family. Brother Yingzhe, you go to sleep, I will take care of the child, He Tian said softly. In the first half of the night, Huo Yingzhe took care of the child. In the second half of the night, He Tian woke up consciously and asked to look after the child. Huo Yingzhe smiled and said, "It's okay, just keep sleeping." In the past, in the research institute, it was okay not to sleep for days and nights. No, you used to be a mere commander, but now you have a family, an old one, a young one, He Tian said angrily. Your body is not your own, it belongs to us. I warn you, you must take good care of yourself, we are counting on you in the future. Huo Yingzhe covered He Tian's little mouth and murmured softly, okay, I'll sleep. The crib is below, and He Tian is on the second berth. Just look at it, you don't need to go down, it's not cold under the quilt. Even though they closed the small door, He Tian was still worried. When it comes to children, He Tian is more careful than anyone else, because she is afraid that when she opens her eyes, the child will be gone. In the morning, the child woke up. He Tian got up and changed the baby's diaper, washed his face and butt, and then fed him milk powder. As long as He Tian is at home, no one else will be allowed to do these things. She should try to raise her own children as much as possible. The children are her responsibility, not anyone else's. After He Tian packed up the children, she had time to wash up. The first thing is to take out the soap and wash your hands carefully. There are more people, making it easier to watch the kids. Huo Jekan was in charge of cooking, waiting for He Tian and Huo Yingzhe to come back, just in time to have dinner. The 2 children were a little scared when they got on the train at first, but now they are fine. They lay on the window and looked at the retreating trees outside, shouting ah, but they were fine now. He Tian didn't sleep for the rest of the night and was a little sleepy now. Tian, we are watching the child. You go up and take a nap, Zhang Lifang said with a smile. Although she fell asleep at night, she knew that her son and daughter-in-law took turns taking care of the child and stayed up in the middle of the night. Seeing that the 2 children were having a good time and that there were many people taking care of them, He Tian nodded and said, "Thank you, Mom. I'll take a nap then."